Good morning, everyone. Paul Ruppel here with Fox 29 News Now. We're getting you straight out to a Philadelphia police press conference about the murder of a New Jersey realtor in the Mayfair section of the city. Let's listen into the news conference.
If anybody on the block on Oakmont Street, the 4500 block of Oakmont, saw anything suspicious. We believe he was possibly there from the prior day on the 30th, and that he didn't return home on the 30th, and his family reported him missing. And he was located by a passerby around 11 o'clock on the 31st. He was scheduled to show a house on that block around noon on the 30th. But that's all we're really prepared to talk about at this time.
So he goes to show the home and doesn't return to the office and doesn't return home at some point, and his family does the family contact you? They're the ones who was wondering where he was?
The family made calls, and he was ultimately reported missing because he kept a very regular, normal schedule, and it was out of the ordinary for him not to return home and obviously not to answer your phone calls. That was cause for alarm for the family.
Did the realty company contact you guys in any way? Did they realize that he wasn't around?
The family reported him missing, and then we made contact with the family and the realty company. So.
You mentioned he was barely alive. I'm imagining that he had a cell phone on him, but then was pulling that. Was he unconscious but still alive?
Yes, the officers at the scene made entry to the vehicle by breaking the window, and rescue came right away, and they did CPR and transferred him to the hospital. But it didn't last much longer, unfortunately.
So his killer is in the vehicle with him when he kills him, you believe?
We believe that to be the case, yes.
And no one in that community heard the gunshot?
We didn't get any calls. Sound can be tricky sometimes, the way it travels, or if it's inside a vehicle and the windows are up. The windows are up and the car was locked. It was not running.
How many shots do you believe were?
He was shot at least once.
Okay, because I know there were one of the back windows was blown out.
No, that was the officers broke that window to make entry.
Gotcha. Did you find a number of shell casings inside the?
Well, I'm not going to get into discussing the ballistic evidence that was present.
Shot wasn't a jump?
He was shot to the head area, yes, yeah.
You said you think that Mr. Martinez knew his killer, but you don't have any suspects right now?
Not right now, no. Just based on the circumstances and the way this unfolded. He has no priors. He's not on our radar. He's a family guy. He's working for a living, doing real estate.
What does it mean that he wasn't robbed?
Well, his personal possessions are still on him. Typically, if you're robbed, they lift you of your wallet and your cell phone and your jewelry and your watch.
And if they don't do that?
Well, it indicates that the motive wasn't a robbery.
We're looking to kill him.
I mean, sometimes you have aborted robberies, but it's still very no. Not actually. He was obviously killed, clearly. So, thank you very much.
Can I ask? I have a photo.
Again, you've been watching Philadelphia Police providing an update on the murder of a New Jersey realtor in the city's Mayfair section. He was found yesterday, I believe. Let me get you some information while along with file video here that we showed you during the news conference. New Jersey realtor Orlando Martinez, seen here on his Facebook page, he ended up dead in the city's Mayfair neighborhood. Police say someone shot and killed him as he sat in his own car. He was shot at least once in the head area. Police say the 54-year-old was parked outside of a home on Oakmont Street with his realty sign on the front lawn. The rear window of the car was blown out by gunfire, and sources say police found a shell casing inside the vehicle. Police are trying to determine if the gunman was inside the car when the trigger was pulled. You heard during the news conference there, they do believe that was the case. At this time right now, they're saying they don't believe that robbery was a motive because he still had some of his possessions on his person. But police are investigating and trying to get any more information they can from the scene, and including talking to any potential witnesses, reviewing any kind of video that might be available in the area, surveillance video. So that was a quick news conference there from Philadelphia Police. I'm Paul Ruppel here with Fox 29 News Now. We're going to bring you some stories from around the area as we do weekdays after Good Day. Let's start you off with some breaking news that just came into our newsroom a short while ago. This is Robert Bowers. He is the suspect in the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh. He has just pleaded not guilty to that investigation. He's, of course, investigation has revealed that he's. Police have stated that he is an anti-Semitic truck driver. And he's accused of gunning down 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue. But he pleaded not guilty this morning to federal charges that could put him on death row. 46-year-old Robert Bowers, who you see there in the picture, was arraigned after a grand jury one day after a grand jury issued a 44-count indictment that charges him with murder, hate crimes, obstructing the practice of religion, and other crimes. It was his second brief appearance in a federal courtroom since the weekend massacre at Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh's Squirrel Hill neighborhood. So again, he is pleading not guilty to those crimes. Faces a laundry list of counts there, 44, but he says he's not guilty of those incidents. Meanwhile, we want to get you an update on a story we were bringing you this morning on Good Day Philadelphia. Lockdown has been lifted at Upper Darby High School, and we can see the reason why, what prompted the lockdown. Upper Darby police showed this pellet gun that was recovered. Our Steve Keeley's been following this story all morning, as I mentioned. Upper Darby School District tweeted around 10 o'clock, that police are currently lifting the lockdown, that they were lifting the lockdown of Upper Darby High School. They had a student in custody who was in possession of a pellet gun, and additional updates would be provided very shortly. Everyone is safe. Then our Steve Keeley reported that according to a law enforcement source, the student brought the plastic pellet gun to school and was taking it out of a bag to give to a friend when it fell on the floor, and others saw it and reported the gun. He also says students being directed there to the Performing Arts Center and can leave if upset. Here's another look at that weapon, the pellet gun. Upper Darby Police Superintendent Michael Chitwood said the pellet gun the 16-year-old brought to school, this was it. He showed it off. Our Steve Keeley said, sadly, pellet guns look like real guns. And as he tweeted this picture, he said, you can see why anyone seeing this in a school might be frightened and call 911 as soon as possible. And this weapon was allegedly brought to Upper Darby High School by a 16-year-old who's now in custody, as we mentioned. Police not allowed to question him without his parents' consent. So the lockdown has been lifted. A scary morning there at Upper Darby has been resolved, but as our Steve Keeley mentioned, students who were impacted were being directed to the Performing Arts Center and can leave if they're upset. Our Steve was a busy guy this morning. He was also reporting on another incident that occurred in the city this last night, a shooting that occurred, injured some trick-or-treating children. It's a bit of a ongoing problem in the city. A lot of violent incidents involving children. This, of course, on Halloween last night. 2 children were shot in Alney while trick-or-treating, and in Germantown, police rushed to another incident. Here's Steve's report on those 2 incidents.
2018 continues to be likely the deadliest year ever in Philadelphia for teenagers and children shot and killed in Philadelphia. Another young high school-age life lost last night here, very close to one of the Big 5 universities. Philly police say the latest murder here at Shelton and Shoe Avenue, just down the street, a couple of blocks from the heart of the LaSalle campus. And that occurred just within 3.5 hours of a brother and sister hit by gunfire where they were out on the sidewalk trick-or-treating not too far away in Olney. And it made a guy who used to trick-or-treat there as a little kid himself, Police Commissioner Richard Ross, extremely angry this morning.
The big issue with this is how callous somebody could be, that you see the children, you know they're trick-or-treating, and that you could be so evil that you don't care that they're standing there, and you just want to shoot somebody so badly, and in this case you end up shooting two innocent children. Fortunately they're going to survive, but it's the younger of the two, the 5-year-old, that sustained the most significant injury, a broken leg as I understand it. And I just can't understand, how we've gotten this far in society, how we've morphed into this, where people absolutely don't care. They don't give a damn who's around. It's Halloween, and it just makes no sense, and it makes you angry.
Nearby, where the little kids were shot, the windows were shot out of this red pickup truck, which also had a bullet hole right through the fiberglass cap of the back of the pickup. Another bullet went into a house nearby. All these scenes make it seem like, as bad as the story already is, it could have been so much worse. At police headquarters, Steve Keeley, Fox 29 News. Back to you.
We have some more of that sound from Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross that we can bring you right now. Let's listen into what he had to say.
The big issue with this is how callous somebody could be, that you see the children, you know they're trick-or-treating, and that you could be so evil that you don't care that they're standing there, and you just want to shoot somebody so badly, and in this case you end up shooting two innocent children. Fortunately they're going to survive, but it's the younger of the two, the 5-year-old, that sustained the most significant injury, a broken leg as I understand it. And I just can't understand, how we've gotten this far in society, how we've morphed into this, where people absolutely don't care. They don't give a damn who's around. It's Halloween, and it just makes no sense, and it makes you angry.
I believe that was the same sound from Commissioner Ross, but poignant sound and important what he had to say there. Let's get you to another story. This one we've had for you on Good Day Philadelphia this morning. In New Jersey, another child has died from a viral outbreak at a pediatric rehab center in Passaic County. That's now 10 children at the Wanacue Center who have died from the respiratory virus called adenovirus. The health department has ordered the facility to stop taking new patients until the virus is contained. And now in Camden County, we have a second outbreak, this one at the Voorhees pediatric facility, where 4 children now have adenovirus. According to preliminary testing, health officials say this virus is not the same strain that killed children in Passaic County. The patients are not as sick, though doctors are monitoring them closely. We had a guest on this morning to talk more about this situation, and here is that conversation from Good Day Philadelphia this morning.
All right, let's get to the bottom of this, because this is kind of alarming. A 10th child now has died from a viral outbreak at that pediatric rehab center up in Passaic County, North Jersey.
The children are being cared for at the Wanacue Center. Their deaths resulted from the respiratory virus called adenovirus, and the health department has ordered the facility to stop taking new patients until the virus is contained.
Now, this is why we're concerned down here. In Camden County, we now have an outbreak. I don't know if you call it an outbreak. We have cases. This one is at the Voorhees pediatric facility, where 4 children have now contracted this virus. According to preliminary testing, health officials say the virus is not the same strain that killed the children, 10 of them, in Passaic County. So, Dr. Cottle, we have you back.
Yeah, it's good to
see you. And I swear the last time you were here, you said this adenovirus is fairly common.
It's very common. Yeah.
Very common.
Right.
Why is it killing kids up north?
The likelihood, and that's a great question, that's what people want to know. If it's so common, then what's the problem now? The likelihood is that, these children in these facilities, remember, these are pediatric long-term care facilities. So there are children that are likely on ventilators, that have weakened immune systems, that require long-term care. Okay. Their body is not able to fight off viruses and bacteria, probably like someone who is otherwise healthy. And that's likely one of the reasons why we're seeing this. The strain also does matter, too. You mentioned something important, that the strain that we're seeing in North Jersey may be different than the one in South South Jersey, so that probably makes a difference too. But honestly, this is a virus that, I said this last week when I was here, you and I probably get this virus every year. You probably do too, because it can cause things like the common cold, etc.
And that's what makes me concerned. And so if everyone gets it, let's say it's a common thing, should we be that much more concerned if there's a different strain? Does that mean how much of a difference could it make?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And that's one of the things that I know the New Jersey State Department, or the Health Department rather, and CDC officials, they have infection control folks out at the different sites monitoring, doing investigations, and also looking at trends. It is possible that a certain strain of adenovirus is more what we call virulent than other strains. And so that is possible.
Meaning that it's harder to treat?
Harder to treat, or maybe more deadly or more problematic for certain people. That is very likely. It's possible.
All right, here's another question,
Sure.
Dan. Let's see. You may not know the answer to this.
Okay.
The Voorhees facility, is it for at-risk children,
It's
patients?
also a pediatric care facility.
so-
That's exactly right. That is a common denominator. And honestly, it's funny. I was talking to some of my doctor colleagues, like my partner in the office last night. I was saying, yeah, I'm coming on this morning to talk about this. She and I both feel like, this does warrant investigation. Interestingly enough, these are both pediatric care facilities. We're not saying that the facility is doing anything wrong, but we want to look at infection control.
Well, we know the North Jersey one has been. They've had some violations.
Some citations. So we want to see about hand washing precautions. Is there some common denominators with equipment, things like that? Again, there's no claim that this is happening, but this certainly is warranted time for investigation, and that's what's happening.
They were saying that the kids over in Voorhees are not as
Yes, I read
sick.
that as well, that they're not as sick as the other
in Camden
facilities.
County, they're not as sick.
Yeah, the Voorhees facility.
But remember, adenovirus is a virus that we think of that's pretty robust. It sometimes is hard to kill with disinfectants, and it tends to happen in children more than adults, and it can be more common in places where there's lots of people. So these are facilities where there are lots of kids that are being treated, adults, etc. So it's going to be more likely probably in environments like this in general.
And what I meant by not as sick, because they're alive.
Right.
I'm not talking about the ones that have passed. They still have quite a few sick kids up there in North Jersey.
Right.
They're trying to survive this thing.
Right. No, absolutely. No, there's at least over 27 maybe that have contracted the illness. So, this is, I know parents are out there wondering, okay, so what do I do, and what do I do? This is where we go back to our basic hand hygiene and our basic hygiene. Get your flu shot. Flu shot does not protect against adenovirus, but it's still important. Wash your hands. Make sure you're wiping down surfaces. If you're sick, don't go to work. Don't send your kid to school. Those are things that we can all be doing. That's really important.
And should we have more checks of pediatric facilities?
Well, and also making sure that we're functioning up to regulations and that, that the standards are maintained. That's very important.
Again, important points there by Dr. Caudell, talking about the adenovirus and the outbreak in Passaic County, North Jersey, and the 4 cases identified at the Voorhees Center in down South Jersey, and the precautions they're trying to take there, and the response. Again, 10 children killed in Passaic County. The children at the Voorhees Center, the center in Voorhees, are okay so far and being treated. Want to get you an update. We'll have a little bit of fun with this one. This is obviously everyone has been trick-or-treating over last night. Halloween's come and gone, but chances are you have some leftover candy. The question now is, what do you do with it? How about making some new and something exciting out of it? Bakers Brianna Green of the Fancy Crumb and Joel Singer of Barry's Buns are here to show you a few things you can make. They joined us this morning on Good Day to show off some of their creations.
I love when we do these segments after Halloween because it means more food and more candy. So the thing is, you have that big pile of candy right in your house. You know the kids aren't going to eat it all, or you don't want them to eat it all. So what do you do with the rest of it?
Make something special. You know what I mean? Just don't lay around. Make something special.
Because if you don't, it'll just be sitting there through Christmas or next year.
You got it. So we brought in a couple chefs to do this for us because we don't know how to do this. Joel, we'll get to you in a second. Let's start with Brianna. Brianna Green?
Yes.
Right? Where are you from?
I'm from East Lansdowne.
Okay, what's the name of your place?
It's the Fancy Crumb.
Oh, it's Fancy Crumb.
Yes.
Wow, that's adorable.
And she's going to show us fancy ways to get rid of our Halloween
All
candy.
right, let's start down here at the end. What do you say? What is that molten lava thing?
So we have a chocolate cake with chocolate ganache. So what I did with the Snickers, the Reese's Pieces, and the Milky Way is I made a bark to put on top of my cake.
A bark?
Yes. So what you do is take your normal candy melts that you can get at Michael's, melt that down, spread that on some parchment paper or aluminum foil, and just sprinkle the chopped up candies that you have.
So it's more, do you mind if I touch it?
You can take it, yeah.
So it's like one of, I can take it off, but one of these.
Oh, it's pretty cool. Yeah, but it's one of those.
There.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
But when you break it off, you get little pieces of every candy that I put on there.
This one's pretty simple. You're making like chocolate chip cookies.
Correct.
But using Reese's or Reese's?
Reese's or Kit Kats or any type of chocolate. Yeah, or any type of chocolate that you want to put in your cookie, you can use.
So it's literally in the cookie.
It is.
This might be a dream come true for you.
There we go.
Look at that. Look at the Reese's right in there. Okay, I'm all on it.
That's her favorite candy.
Oh, I'm so happy I picked that one.
Now, Alex and I are, we found out a lot of people don't like candy corn, but we love it.
I love candy corn. I love candy corn. And I love Rice Krispie treats, especially the homemade kind.
Yeah.
So what you do, they have the recipe on the back of every Rice Krispie box. So you basically take marshmallows, your Rice Krispie cereal, and you melt that in a pot, and then you can throw in your candy corn.
And that candy corn then will melt a little bit?
Yeah, slightly. What I also did was took candy corn and put it in a pot and melted that down and drizzled it on top, so you get that extra candy corn flavor.
Hold on. I just looked at this next one. First of all, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
What is stuck to the icing?
What I did was take Jolly Ranchers and hammer them down to make little crystals that can act as sprinkles for your cake, and I just stuck it at the bottom and sprinkled it at the top.
Okay, let's do that.
Jolly Rancher sprinkles? Why has no one thought of this? I love it.
Okay, you got Jolly Ranchers in the bag.
Yes, I do.
Can we show?
Jolly Ranchers. And we have a hammer so that you can crush this. So what you want to do is just cover that and then just hammer away.
Oh, here we go.
How many chefs have a hammer? You ready?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
I guess you get the idea.
Yeah,
you do.
So it all ends up crushed up, and then...
There you go with your sprinkles. And I
so
imagine
you throw it at it like a Jackson
You can.
Pollock?
So what I do is take it in my hand and go like that and just press it up against. But to get the sprinkles, I just kind of throw it. It gets on the floor sometimes and on the table, but I'll sweep it up later.
I mean, that's the fun
part.
part.
You just throw it at the cake.
Now, I would imagine if they're sprinkles, you could put them on, because you put them on cookies too.
You can put them on cookies, you can put them on cupcakes, you can put them on anything.
Do you want more of that?
No, not now.
Okay, Brianna, that was great.
Thank you so much. All right, Joel, it's your turn.
All right.
Oh, more Reese's. I love it.
So today I brought a variation of our Nutty Banana Waffle. It's a Liège waffle topped with bananas, crushed Reese's cups, and then drizzled with melted peanut butter.
There's a waffle under all that?
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you can do that with any type of waffle, any toppings, anything
crumble it on top.
crumbled on top. The kids will love it.
You're a decadent man.
Very nice.
And then we brought our Chipwich cookies. These are our chocolate chip cookies with a cream cheese icing, and then we just coated the outside with all types of M&Ms. You could use Reese's Pieces, anything. You could even go a step further and putting them in the cookie themselves.
Where are you from?
We're from Barry's Buns.
Oh, across the street.
Right across the
He's
street.
our neighbor.
That's right.
Of course.
And lastly, I'm going to make
this
you
is the grand
guys
finale right here.
a Snickers hot chocolate.
Yes!
So we drizzle the cup with a little caramel, then a little bit of chocolate on top, just for color.
Oh, more drizzle, yeah.
I'm going to have to get a special glass cup.
I'm going to have to get a dentist appointment.
Best time to go really is 2:30.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
All right, got the hot chocolate.
Little whipped cream.
Oh, yeah.
That hot chocolate's going to melt some of that caramel, too.
Caramel drizzle.
More caramel.
Oh, my.
Snickers on top, and then garnish it with a half of a fun-sized Snickers bar.
Do you know
yeah.
Brianna, Joel?
No.
Come on over here.
Yes.
You two should get married, and I'll do the ceremony. Choose birds of a feather.
That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
You're
Hey, give it a
welcome.
shot at home. Let us know how it works out.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Is it good? She's going to be concentrating on the Reese's, I know it.
Again, thank you to the two chefs for sharing their ideas for what to do with your Halloween leftover candy. We certainly have plenty of that in our house right now. Want to get you a live look at conditions outside. Here is a shot of the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. And here are our studios, outside our studios here in Old City, Philadelphia. Currently, it is 64 degrees, dew point of 55. We could be headed to a high of 72 or 73, I believe I heard today. Winds out of southwest at 12 miles per hour, so a bit warm, a bit windy, but it's bringing in some warmer temperatures right now. Coming out of the southwest. So it's a beautiful day outside. Get outside, enjoy it, maybe take a walk to lunch. Take advantage of these wonderful conditions while they last. Right now we've been watching both Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein are at an event. These are the U.S. Marshal Awards. We're going to take you there live. Then I might be able to show you some of the footage from earlier. They're speaking at the U.S. Marshals Service Award Ceremony. Marshal Service 37th Director's Honorary Award Ceremony, including remarks from Attorney General Sessions and Deputy Rod Rosenstein. This is occurring at the Department of Justice. Right now we're looking at not a very good shot at the moment. But let's listen into a little bit, and then I'll roll you back to the start of this event so you can hear some of the award presentations as they occurred.
Trying to clear as much from my docket as I can. David Anderson is hard at work, I know, keeping the Marshal Service running like a thoroughbred. David Harlow is busy mowing the lawn, raking the leaves, and harvesting fish. In the 7 years I was on the Judicial Security Committee, the last 3 as chair, I was extraordinarily confident that our judges nationwide were in the best hands possible. Each of you and your agency are truly indispensable in that mission. The Marshal Service and the Judicial Security Committee have had an excellent relationship. John Bolin was very adept at herding cats, as I like to say about a group of judges. Thank you one and all for your hard work and for caring. Now I want to add my thanks and congratulations to those being honored today at the 37th Directors Award Ceremony. You are a vital part of a great organization. That the director has chosen to honor you should be a great source of pride. When you are picked as one of the best of an organization with so many bests, it's quite an honor. I want to again express, on behalf of the entire judiciary, our condolences to the family of Christopher Hill. His service is honored and remembered as a truly great hero of this nation. Jeff Larson, I must mention how happy and proud I am of your award. Your award should read, for successfully keeping Herndon the Horrible out of harm's way against insurmountable odds. Congratulations, Jeff. Hold on one moment. Sorry for this interruption, but I understand a judge is calling and quite upset. Hi, Judge. What can I do for you? Well, no, I'm not still chair of the Security Committee, but I'd be happy to help. I understand your issue, but the deputy and the CSO were both right when they said they couldn't take you from the courthouse to your doctor's appointment and back. Of course your life is valuable, and you are irreplaceable. But we just don't have the manpower to give every judge a bodyguard.
Let's take you back to a little bit earlier when some of the awards were being presented. You'll see Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein at center stage handing them out. And I believe, yes. All right, let's take you back to earlier when those awards were being presented.
The first U.S. Marshal to die in the line of duty is presented to employees who have demonstrated unusual courage, good judgment, and competence in hostile circumstances, or who have placed themselves in harm's way to save the life of another person. As the recipients are called to the stage, we will share a few highlights regarding their accomplishments. For more detailed description of their achievements, please refer to your programs. On August 11, 2017, as Task Force Officer David Carpenter and Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force members were attempting to apprehend a fugitive, he drove his car into a vehicle occupied by Task Force personnel and attempted to strike another Task Force member standing outside of his vehicle. Realizing he was in direct line of the fugitive's accelerating car, TFO Carpenter quickly reacted, fired multiple rounds, striking the fugitive, causing the car to divert its path and avoid hitting a vehicle occupied by 2 task force officers. The vehicle eventually crashed into a house and the fugitive was arrested. For taking swift actions that saved the lives of fellow task force members, the Robert Forsyth Valor Award is presented to David Carpenter, Northern District of Ohio. On November 9, 2017, Deputy U.S. Marshal Justin Engine responded to assist local police in pursuit of a subject in a truck who was ramming vehicles in order to evade capture. The truck's progress was stopped, but the driver continued to press on the gas pedal. Fearing for the safety of civilians trapped in their cars, local officers discharged their firearms at the suspect. A female passenger was also in the suspect's truck. Deputy Engine and a state trooper broke the passenger side window of the truck, removed the injured woman, and rendered medical assistance for a gunshot wound she'd received until the ambulance arrived at the scene. Deputy Engine's bravery and immediate medical attention ensured the passenger survived her injuries. For his courage under fire, the Robert Forsyth Valor Award is presented to Justin Engine, District of Rhode Island. On October 1st, 2017, Senior Inspector Basilio Perez was off duty enjoying music at the Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada, with family and friends when an active shooter situation arose that took the lives of dozens of audience members and wounded hundreds more. Without regard for his own safety, Senior Inspector Perez immediately provided assistance by evacuating victims from the scene and provided medical attention to those who had been shot. Once the shooting subsided, Senior Inspector Perez returned to assist additional victims who had been in hiding. For extraordinary bravery demonstrated that evening, the Robert Forsyth Valor Award is presented to Senior Inspector Basilio Perez, Investigative Operations Division. On January 18, 2018, members of the Middle District of Pennsylvania Fugitive Task Force were executing an arrest warrant on a fugitive at a residence. As they cleared the first floor, the fugitive opened fire from the second floor. During the initial exchange of gunfire, Deputy U.S. Marshal Christopher Hill was struck in the torso outside the coverage of his ballistic vest, and a task force officer was struck in the arm. As the officers were moved to safety for on-site medical aid, the fugitive attempted to flee the residence, began shooting at the perimeter team. Second task force officer was struck and the fugitive was fatally shot. Tragically, Deputy Hill's grave injuries proved fatal. In honor of the ultimate sacrifice made by Deputy United States Marshal Christopher Hill that tragic day, the Robert Forsyth Valor Award is presented to his wife, Sylvia Hill. That concludes the presentation of our Valor Awards. Thank you again, Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us and participate in our ceremony today and in the presentation of our Valor Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, as Deputy Attorney General departs, please join me in showing our appreciation for his participation in today's ceremony. We'll now have a selection from the United States Marshal Service, Pipes and Drums.
You've been watching a footage from the U.S. Marshal Service Awards ceremony at the Department of Justice. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein was there to hand out the awards. Earlier they heard some remarks from Attorney General Jeff Sessions. I have a little bit of, actually I don't know if I have that. We're going to take you live momentarily to, this is in Georgia, Dalton, Georgia, at the Dalton Convention Center, where Vice President Mike Pence will deliver remarks at a Get Out the Vote rally for candidate Brian Kemp. Kemp has been a little bit of a controversial figure in the news lately. There are accusations that a program that tries to match an exact match between voter registration and other documents has resulted in over 53,000 ballots or voters being taken, temporarily suspended from the rolls. We're awaiting Vice President Mike Pence to speak about that. Kemp, of course, has denied that that this is part of the problem is that those voters are, a majority of them are black voters, and so there have been calls accusing this situation of voter suppression. Brian Kemp has denied that, but he has remained in his role as the top election official in the state of Georgia. We're expecting Vice President Mike Pence soon here to speak for him at a Get Out the Vote rally. Of course, we are less than a week away, about 5 days away from the midterm elections that will occur on November 6th across the country. I believe Stacey Abrams is Brian Kemp's opponent there in Georgia. Again, this will be a Get Out the Vote rally in Dalton, Georgia, at the Dalton Convention Center. I saw a little bit of footage earlier of the Vice President arriving for this event. We're now waiting for him to speak in Dalton, Georgia. We'll bring that to you as soon as it happens. For the meantime, we'll listen in a little bit to the crowd. Oh, the music was pretty loud there. We'll keep it down for a little bit until we see the Vice President taking the podium there. While we wait, actually, let me get you an update I just saw come across. This is, we told you that earlier this morning that we were following a lockdown at Upper Darby High School that resulted from a pellet gun. Fox 29 Steve Keeley got this photo of the weapon in question when Police Superintendent Chitwood showed it to the media later. The acting superintendent of Upper Darby Schools put out a statement. I'll read it for you. It says, shortly after 8 a.m., it was reported to the high school administration that a gun was seen in a student's backpack. The eyewitness was not able to identify the student, and a lockdown was called. The Upper Darby Police Department and police from neighboring municipalities were on the scene in seconds and did a thorough investigation revealing a plastic gun in the possession of one of our students. The student was apprehended and the lockdown was lifted at approximately 9:25 a.m. We understand how unnerving this type of situation is for our community and appreciate your patience as we reported what we knew on Twitter and the website as we received information from police. Again, this is the acting superintendent of Upper Darby Schools. He went on to write, we thank you, our students, our staff, and our police for your efforts to keep everyone calm and safe during this lockdown. While everyone is safe, we understand that there are students and parents who are shaken as a result of this morning's lockdown. Due to the high volume of high school parents who wish to have their children released, we are dismissing the high school early today. Walkers are being dismissed at 11 a.m. and transportation will arrive for high school students at 11:15 a.m. All after-school and evening activities for the high school have been canceled. I'm sorry for the anxiety caused by this morning's situation and appreciate your support as we always keep our children's safety as our top priority. Again, that is a letter from Upper Darby School District Acting Superintendent Dr. Daniel P. McGarry. You see on the screen there the weapons that were, the weapon that was shown by Police Superintendent Chitwood. And we have that's the latest. The school has dismissed early at 11, walkers at 11, and buses at 11:15. So if your children are in the Upper Darby High School, they are headed home for the day. Certainly a tough morning for them, but glad police were able to investigate and get to the bottom of what was happening. For the moment, we've lost our shot of the rally that is occurring in Georgia, where Vice President Mike Pence is supposed to speak. Seems to have gone down, so we'll take a look at the Benjamin Franklin Parkway and hang here for a couple minutes. We'll see if that shot comes back. I've seen color bars, and now actually it looks like it is back. So we'll take you there live as soon as that happens. Might have had to, sometimes our crews in the field have to take care of their cameras while they're waiting. There again is the scene at the Brian Kemp Get Out the Vote rally at the Dalton Convention Center in Dalton, Georgia. As soon as we see the Vice President ready to speak, we will take you there. I want to get you one other piece of information. I just saw this flash across my screen. Let me track it down for you again. It was in my email inbox. President Trump is expected to, we'll show you the White House while we talk about this. President Trump is expected to deliver brief remarks on illegal immigration and border security at approximately 4:15 p.m. from the White House. The approximate length is expected to be about 10 minutes. Again, President Donald Trump will speak at 4:15 p.m. today, approximately. Is expected to deliver brief remarks on illegal immigration and border security. We here at Fox 29 will carry this for you on, at least on our website, fox29.com, on Facebook. And we'll certainly have the latest for you on the Fox 29 News at 5, 6, 10, and 11 tonight. But again, just getting word that President Trump will talk about illegal immigration and border security at approximately 4:15 today. Let me see if I can find some more information for you about that and what he intends to say. Of course, the president has ordered active duty military to the border ahead of, in anticipation of caravans of migrants that are in Mexico and moving their way north, eventually reaching the border, southern border of the United States. The number for that group of military being called up has grown over the days. I believe originally it was around 500. Now it's higher than that. I believe the last figure I saw was 5,200. Let me double check that figure. The president's now saying that, well, looks like our feed changed to a live event. So let's get you back to the Kemp rally while we talk about this. President Trump has said the number of military troops deployed to the U.S.-Mexican border could reach 15,000, roughly double the number the Pentagon said it currently plans for a mission whose dimensions are shifting daily. The Pentagon says more than 7,000 troops were being sent to the southwest border to support the Customs and Border Protection agents. Officials said that number could reach a maximum of about 8,000 under present plans, this according to reporting by the Associated Press. But the troop numbers have been changing at a dizzying pace, as I was alluding to, with the president drawing a hard line on immigration in the lead up to midterm elections. Just last week, the figure was about 800 to 1,000 might be sent. The commander of U.S. Northern Command told reporters the number would exceed the initial contingent of 5,200, but he has not offered an estimate of the eventual total. And just 24 hours later, the president thrust new uncertainty into the picture, catching the Pentagon by surprise, according to the AP. I believe I'm hearing that that shot that popped up momentarily was Google workers popping out to walking outside to protest the treatment of women. We'll get you back there if we can, but right now let's take you to get you the sound here from the rally that's occurring in Dalton, Georgia.
I've got great news for you. Today is November 1st, 2018. And Hillary Rodham Clinton is not the President of the United States of America. Folks, this race for governor could not be more important. The billionaires in California and New York have decided that the road to the White House in 2020 rolls through Georgia this year. They're trying to buy this governor's race. It's not going to work. She is way too liberal for Georgia. More important than that, the Democrats have already proven over the last 8 years under Barack Obama, and even over the last 100 years, when they've had 4 super majorities, they have proven that what they believe in failed. Today, this race in Georgia could not be more important because it is a direct contrast of what our republic fought for 200 years ago. Is it going to be mob rule or majority rule? Is it going to be socialism or democracy? Is it going to be government control or individual freedom? I came to Georgia today to make sure that Brian Kemp gets elected to be the next governor of the state of Georgia. The road to socialism will never roll through the state of Georgia. It's my high honor right now to get the governor of the state of Georgia on the stage. We are blessed to have had 2 Republican governors since 2002, and they've turned Georgia from a backwater economic state to the best state in the country in which to do business. Please welcome our current governor, Nathan Deal. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Senator. Thank you all for being here today. We're all a little bit wet waiting at the Chattanooga airport. I told them all, I said, that's just Tennessee weather. It's going to get better when you get to Georgia, and sure enough it has. But I have been very pleased with the Republican candidate for governor. I think he's going to carry on the tradition that all of us, I hope, are very proud of as to the position of our state. I've ridden the bus on the tour for the last couple of days, and the crowds are great everywhere, and this is certainly a great turnout. So you should all be proud of the fact you have generated such support. I simply ask of all of you that you extend the same love, prayers, and support for Brian and Marty Kemp that you have extended to me and my wife, Sandra. And I am pleased to present to you now the next governor of the state of Georgia, Brian Kemp. so much. Oh, thank y'all very much. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Governor Deal, for that kind introduction. It's great to see so many friends, family, and supporters and hard-working Georgians in this crowd right here. Thank y'all so much for being here. And I appreciate all that you're doing to help us get the vote out. You are standing up for Georgia's future. Now, I know you guys know this, but I want to thank Marty and these three girls, Jarrett, Lucy, and Amy Porter, for their unwavering support. They are all in. They are Kemp strong, and we would not be here today if it wasn't for their love, support, and their absolute hard work on the road out there. Help me thank everybody. I also want to thank President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence for their unwavering support in this campaign. This tour across Georgia today with Vice President Pence is going to make a huge difference for us at the ballot box. And I know that you're just like me, that you're excited that President Trump's going to be with us for a huge rally down in Macon on Sunday. On behalf of all Georgians, I want to thank and extend a moment of gratitude to our President Donald Trump, to Vice President Pence, Secretary Perdue, and Governor Deal for their incredible response to the hurricane just several days ago in Georgia. As you all know, South Georgia, and especially Southwest Georgia, was devastated. But because of the leadership that we've seen at the federal, state, and local level, we will rebuild, and our state will be stronger than ever before. And I want to personally thank, President Trump and Vice President Pence for standing with us in a time of need and standing strong for Georgia. We appreciate that so much. As you all know, this race is a battle for the soul of our state. It is a fight for our future. And my opponent is running the most dishonest campaign that Georgians have ever seen. There is a reason for that. She's lying about my record to hide her extreme agenda. She wants higher taxes. She wants bigger government. And she wants a radical government takeover of health care. And listen, those are her so-called moderate positions. She also wants to give taxpayer benefits, welfare, and free college to those that are here illegally. And she's encouraging illegals to go out and vote for her and be part of the so-called blue wave. Not even California is that radical. But with your vote, we can stop this craziness. And as governor, I will invest in public education and give our teachers a raise. We will cut taxes. We will cut taxes like last year and lower health care premiums. I will fight hard to always protect the Hope Scholarship and keep our kids safe at school. But make no mistake, I will always fight, and with your help, we will win on our conservative issues that we believe in, including our Second Amendment. And I will work
with President Trump and Vice President Pence to keep Georgia working and do our part to make America great again. But we need your help. We need your help. And I'm asking you to join us in this final push to help us turn out the vote. This is the fourth quarter. This is the fourth quarter. I need you to show up like the dogs did in Jacksonville last weekend. I need your vote. And I know most of you have probably already voted, but I need your vote, and I need you to go get 10 more. 10 more. If you do that, if you help us do that, we will build a red wall around the state to stop that so-called blue wave. Now is the time to hunker it down one more time and keep chopping. If you do that, I will be your next governor. And I will promise you this, I will work hard every day to put Georgians first. Now, to help us win on Tuesday, it is my great honor to introduce a man I deeply respect, a strong person with great faith, and he has been a great friend to us here in the Peach State. He is an unapologetic conservative just like me, a man of principle and rock-solid faith. Georgia, please help me welcome our friend and our Vice President, Mike Pence.
While they're playing the music there, let's get you a quick look at the stock market. Market is up 197 points right now. Dow Jones is up to 25,313. Let's take you back to Vice President Mike Pence, who is beginning to speak.
It's great to be back in the Peach State, just 5 days away from another great victory all across the state of Georgia and all across America. And I'm here for one reason and one reason only. Georgia and America need Brian Kemp to be the next governor of the great state of Georgia. I don't know if you knew this, it's actually Brian's birthday today. And I asked him what he wanted for his birthday. I actually asked him what he wanted for his birthday, and he said, without any hesitation, he wanted 4 more years of strong Republican leadership at the State House in Georgia. And speaking of strong Republican leadership, Let me bring greetings from a friend of mine. I talked to him this morning. His vice president is here today, but he'll be in Macon on Sunday. Let me bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. Isn't he something? I got to tell you, it's the greatest honor of my life to serve as vice president to a president who gets up every day and fights to keep the promises that he made to the people of Georgia and the people of America. I mean, think about it. Just in the last few weeks alone, new jobs report comes out, 4.2 million new jobs created since Election Day, and unemployment's at a 50-year low. And the unemployment rate for African Americans and Hispanic Americans has set an all-time record, and unemployment for women hasn't been this low in 65 years. The American dream is working again. And we just cut a brand new trade deal with our neighbors to the north and the south. And the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement finally puts American jobs, American workers, and American farmers first. And just a little while back, this president kept another big promise when he saw Justice Brett Kavanaugh confirmed to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I mean, I got to tell you, I think there's only one way you can describe the last 2 years. It's been 2 years of action. It's been 2 years of results. It's been 2 years of promises made and promises kept. And we're just getting started, Georgia. That's why we need Brian Kemp in the governor's office. I mean, you've got some incredible leadership here. I'm going to talk about Brian in a minute. We all know how he served this state with such integrity. But would you join me in thanking someone who served this state? I served with him in the Congress. I watched him come home to Georgia. Governor Nathan Deal has served the state of Georgia so well, and he has our thanks. Thank you, Governor. And how about your two strong senators who've stood with this administration through thick and thin, Senator Johnny Isakson and Senator David Perdue. And a man I also served with back when I was a congressman. I know he's your hometown congressman, but he's a principled conservative who stood with this president every step of the way. Congressman Tom Graves, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. I mean, I got to tell you, to see the progress that Georgia has made with these leaders, with your leaders at the state level, it's truly been inspiring. I mean, Georgia right now is ranked consistently as the best state in America to do business, actually for 5 years in a row. Great companies like Mercedes and Pulte Homes have moved their headquarters here. Georgia's home to some of the world's greatest companies, Delta Airlines, Home Depot, Coca-Cola. But to keep it going, we got to keep Georgia growing. We got to have Brian Kemp as the next governor of the state of Georgia. I mean, Brian Kemp basically is Georgia. You get right down to it. He embodies Georgia values. And how about his incredible family? Let's hear it for Marty, Jarrett, Lucy, and Amy. That's going to be a great first family for the state of Georgia. Well, you all know Brian's story, small businessman for decades. He built his first business, I was told, with nothing more than a pickup truck and a shovel. And he went to work. He's literally created hundreds of jobs across Georgia. He's a man of integrity who's answered the call for public service.
He served with great distinction in the state Senate, fought against tax increases, rolled back regulations, and as your Secretary of State, Brian Kemp has made Georgia's government more effective, more accountable for the people that it served, and he saved taxpayers millions of dollars while he did it. That's exactly the kind of leadership you want in the governor's office. I mean, frankly, what Brian Kemp's life is all about, his principles and priorities, just like those that the president's been putting into practice at the national level over the last 2 years. I mean, think about the progress that we've made. Did you know that this president, with the strong support of your senators and Congressman Grace, this president's actually signed more bills rolling back federal red tape than any president in American history. We've unleashed American energy as never before, and we got America out of that disastrous Paris Climate Accord. We got new, fair, and reciprocal trade deals, not only among our neighbors, but with South Korea. We've already started negotiations with European Union, with Japan, and we put China on notice that the era of massive trade deficits is over. We've been supporting farmers as never before. This administration has been standing with our farmers and ranchers. We're going to get a farm bill done with work requirements for able-bodied adults, and we're going to be there so agriculture in South Georgia comes all the way back after Hurricane Michael. And finally, just like the kind of leadership Brian Kemp's going to bring to Georgia, this president, right before Christmas, signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history. We cut taxes for working families. We cut taxes for businesses. And we cut out the core of Obamacare. The individual mandate is gone. And you know what Governor Deal just told me is because of those massive historic tax cuts, for the first time ever, Georgia was able to cut income taxes for working families all across the state. Thank you, Governor. I mean, the truth is, in case you haven't noticed, with the policies President Trump's been advancing and the policies that Brian Kemp will advance and keep going here in Georgia, confidence is back. Jobs are coming back. In a word, America is back, and we're just getting started. True. But you all here in Georgia know that what we know, that it's not just about jobs and the economy and growth. Everything begins with security. And you know, I got to tell you, as the proud father of a United States Marine, I couldn't be more proud to serve with a president who cares so deeply about the men and women of our armed forces and their families. With the support of our partners in Congress, President Trump has already signed the largest increase in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan. We're rebuilding our military and restoring the arsenal of democracy. And we've been standing with our veterans as never before. All new accountability at the VA, people that aren't providing the health care that our veterans earned in the uniform of the United States are gone. And now our veterans have real choice, veterans' choice for world-class health care. And this president, just like Brian Kemp will do, has stood without apology for the rule of law. President Trump's been appointing strong conservatives to our courts at every level, not just the Supreme Court. But last year, President Trump set a record. The most Court of Appeals judges confirmed in a single year than any president in American history, and they are all principled, conservative men and women who will uphold the God-given liberties in our Constitution, like the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms in the Second Amendment. And like Brian Kemp, President Trump has stood without apology for the sanctity of human life at home and abroad. It's not just security, our national defense, and our veterans, and our courts, but it's also about standing with the men and women who serve on the thin blue line of law enforcement. You know, last Saturday, in the midst of that tragedy in Pittsburgh, the nation saw once again the courage and selflessness of our law enforcement officers. 11 members of the Jewish community in Pittsburgh lost their lives in the midst of that horrific attack. Some 6 others were injured, including 4 members of the law enforcement community. They ran into the face of danger, and their efforts undoubtedly saved lives. As the President and I have made clear, this attack was not just criminal, it was evil. Justice in this case will be swift and severe. We will not allow violence or anti-Semitism to take hold in the United States of America. This week, the President and the First Lady traveled to Pittsburgh to pay their respects to the fallen and carry the prayers and condolences of the American people. And with that renewed support for law enforcement, we've been removing dangerous criminals from our streets at record numbers. We've also been enforcing our laws. We've been securing our borders. And we've already started to build that wall. Brian Kemp knows what this president knows. We have a crisis of illegal immigration in this country. It's maybe never been more obvious than in the last few weeks, because we've seen a migrant caravan make their way from Central America, now making their way through Mexico. You know, as the president said, thousands of people that are coming north for the sole purpose of violating our laws and attempting to come in to our country illegally are nothing short of an assault on our country, and it will not be allowed. The truth is, these caravans are being used by leftist groups organized by human traffickers with no regard for human life. I mean, the simple truth is that these human traffickers profit by taking advantage of loopholes in the laws of our country to entice vulnerable families with young children and the elderly, to make the long and dangerous journey of the peninsula. But the truth is, they're also being driven by the dangerous policies of the Democratic Party. I mean, think about it. Democrats don't want to build a wall. They don't want to secure our border. They don't want to close immigration loopholes that human traffickers use every day to exploit vulnerable people in Central America. And frankly, many of the leading voices in the Democratic Party today are calling on our country to abolish immigration and customs enforcement. But let me make you a promise. With President Donald Trump in the White House and Brian Kemp in the State House, we will never abolish ICE. We will stand with those men and women in law enforcement. I mean, I heard just the other day that Stacey Abrams, Brian's opponent, actually said that brave law enforcement officers who work with ICE are, in her words, terrorizing families. That's no surprise, though. Stacey Abrams wants illegal immigrants to get taxpayer-funded benefits. And I read where she actually said that the blue wave that's supposed to be coming to Georgia includes those who are, and I quote, documented and undocumented. Well, let me tell you something. If that's the blue wave coming, it's going to hit a red, white, and blue wall right here in the state of Georgia. And I'll make you a promise. With Brian Kemp as your governor, President Donald Trump in the White House, and with renewed Republican majorities on Capitol Hill, we're going to build that wall. We're going to secure that border. We're going to close the loopholes in our immigration laws, and we're going to end this crisis of illegal immigration once and for all. So it's about the progress, the prosperity. It's about this outstanding candidate that you got before you today. But you all have a choice to make. The people of Georgia in just a few days are going to face a choice, and it couldn't be more distinct. Not just for the reasons that I just said, but the choice between Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams couldn't be more stark. Brian Kemp is going to cut your taxes after he becomes governor. Stacey Abrams says she's going to raise your taxes by more than $300 million. Brian Kemp's going to cut regulations, get government off your back. Stacey Abrams is going to make Georgia's government bigger than ever before. In her words, she's going to have a government that's there for you, quote, from cradle to career. Brian Kemp's going to fight for Georgia's farmers, ranchers, and producers, including Georgia's pecan farmers, poultry producers, and everybody hit so hard by these difficult storms. And his opponent, I'm told, actually said, quote, people shouldn't have to go into agriculture to make a living in Georgia. And I just heard the other day, Brian Kemp's getting the support of all kinds of hardworking, good people all across Georgia, and Stacey Abrams being bankrolled by Hollywood liberals, sending their support into the state, and some of them come into the state. Like I heard Oprah's in town today. And I heard Will Ferrell was going door to door the other day. Well, I'd like to remind Stacey and Oprah and Will Ferrell, I'm kind of a big deal too. You get that? And I got a message for all Stacey Abrams' liberal Hollywood friends. This ain't Hollywood. This is Georgia. And Georgia wants a governor that's going to put Georgia values and Georgia first. And Brian Kemp's going to do just that. So you got a great candidate. We've made great progress in the last 2 years. And you've got a choice to make. But I recognize, this is the next 5 days is going to be critical. Because, the truth is that these first midterm elections for the party that's in the White House are challenging. That's what the conventional wisdom says. And it's actually been true for the Republican Party for every election for the last 100 years except for 2. Conventional wisdom says it's going to be tough to re-elect our majorities in Washington, D.C. and to elect Republican governors to state houses across the country. That's the conventional wisdom. But I think we all know what President Donald Trump thinks of conventional wisdom. We made history in 2016, and we're going to make history again in 2018 when we elect Brian Kemp as the governor of the state of Georgia and re-elect Republican leaders across this country. We're going to do it. But it's going to take all of us to do it. So I've got 3 things I want to ask you to do before I got a plane to catch. miles to go before I sleep. Number one, I want you to decide right here, right now, if you haven't already done it, that you are going to vote, Georgia. You're going to vote to make Brian Kemp the next governor of Georgia. Okay? Remember, these elections are won by the people that show up, right? And remember, friends don't let friends vote alone. Go out and find a family member, a neighbor, at worship, at work, and just, grab them by the elbow and ask them, have you voted yet? And if they haven't, I'm sure they get to the polls before they close on election day in 5 days. Second thing is I want you to do is I want you to go tell somebody. I mean, the truth of the matter is I've been thinking a lot about this time 2 years ago. There weren't a whole lot of pundits out there that thought the president and I would be moving to Washington, D.C. But Georgians are different. Thank God. But I tell you what, I never doubted it, neither did he. And I think the reason was because we were out with all of you. And we saw the enthusiasm, and we knew that people across Georgia were talking to one another, that people here in Dalton were talking to their neighbors and friends. And so that's what I want to encourage you to do this time around. You just say, I ran into Mike the other day in Dalton. And he and Governor Deal and Senator Isaacson and Senator Perdue are all fired up about making Brian Kemp the next governor of the state of Georgia. So you got to go tell them. Just tell them about this good man. Tell them about this man of integrity. Tell them about the foundation in his life, the great family, his proven conservative record to be able to build on the momentum of the state of Georgia. Tell them about the choice we made. Just tell them with Brian Kemp in the State House. You ain't seen nothing yet, Georgia. And lastly, I would encourage you to do one more thing, and this one I know Brian and I, we bonded very early because we both stand on the same rock. I will tell you, in the 5 days that remain here, it seems like across this country, there's more focus on what divides us in America than ever before in my lifetime. But I'll always believe, and I know Brian believes, there will always be more that unites us in these United States of America than will ever divide us. And chief among that is faith. The American people have faith in one another. Our faith in freedom is grounded in our belief in the boundless capacity of any individual to improve themselves, given them freedom and the opportunity to do it. But it's also grounded in that other kind of faith. And so, I'd encourage you to exercise that in the days ahead. And on this one, I know that Brian and his family won't mind. I'm actually not talking about a candidate or a campaign or a party or a cause. In these two divided times in America, I just encourage you to bow the head and bend the knee and pray for America. Pray for all the people of America. Pray for all of the people of this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, because prayer matters. And with His grace, we'll heal this land. So thank you all for coming out. Thanks for hearing me out. And honestly, let me say to neighbors here at Dalton, on behalf of my little family, this grandson of an Irish immigrant, grew up in a small town in southern Indiana. Thank you for the privilege of serving as your vice president. It I leave here today with a grateful heart and with renewed confidence. I really do. Seeing all of you out here today, I'll tell you what. With Brian Kemp in the State House, with renewed Republican majorities in the Congress of the United States, with renewed Republican leadership at every level all across the state of Georgia, President Donald Trump in the White House, and with God's help. I just know we will make Georgia and America more prosperous than you could possibly imagine. We will make Georgia and America safer than ever before. And if we do all we need to do in what remains of this election season in the next 5 days, we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Georgia and God bless America.
You've been watching Vice President Mike Pence campaigning for Georgia gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp, who is facing Stacey Abrams in the midterm elections, the gubernatorial election there in Georgia. The Vice President is expected to hit the campaign trail 3 times today for Kemp, who is also the Georgia Department of State Secretary. Vice President Pence will be at 3 rallies today, while media icon Oprah Winfrey will attend 2 forums with Democratic nominee Stacey Abrams. More high-profile visits are planned as well, with former President Barack Obama coming to Atlanta Friday for Abrams, and President Donald Trump campaigning Sunday for Kemp. I believe there was supposed to be a debate held between the 2 candidates Sunday. Now Kemp will be attending that rally with Trump. Polls suggest Abrams and Kemp are deadlocked in one of the hottest matchups of the midterm elections, according to the Associated Press. Abrams will be the nation's first black female governor, while Kemp is trying to prevent Democrats from establishing Georgia as a legitimate presidential battleground state. More than 1.5 million Georgians already have cast ballots, according to the AP. I want to thank you very much for joining us today on Fox 29 News Now. We're with you each weekday morning after Good Day Philadelphia. I want to thank you again for joining us. We brought you, started with a Philadelphia Police News Conference. We had a quick look at your weather. We've had some stories from Good Day this morning, updates on lockdown that occurred at Upper Darby High School, and now brought you a little bit of a award ceremony at the U.S. Marshal's office at the Department of Justice. And now you've seen this rally in Georgia, Get Out the Vote rally for Brian Kemp, with Vice President Mike Pence appearing there. Have a great day. We'll see you on Friday.